Has someone ever come to you and they're going through something and they're like, man, I'm just feeling overwhelmed, or I'm feeling exhausted, or it's just been a really hard time, and you're not really sure what they're asking for? You're not really sure if they're asking for help or if maybe they simply want to be validated in their experience. I talk about this during my course at Ziva, where a lot of people are like, hey, Emily, people are starting to ask me questions about my meditation practice. They're starting to notice a shift in me. And I don't know if I should talk more about meditation or if I should try and share it with them, and like, how do I proceed? And so I think this is a really helpful framework, whether or not you have a practice, because you can apply this rule to your diet, your exercise program, your meditation technique, basically anything that you might be really passionate about, but you're not totally sure if your friends or family or coworkers are that interested in wanting to learn more. And it's a great way to know how to best serve someone who's coming to you for help, right? So here's how something might go. They're like, man, I am having crazy insomnia, or I'm just feeling overwhelmed. And what you could ask is, hey, is that something you would like help with? So simple. Right? Just ask them, is this something that you would like help with? And then it puts the onus on them to decide, yes, actually, I do want help. This is something I'm ready to change. Do you have any tools? Do you have any suggestions? And then send them to your gym, send them to your favorite chef online, send them to a Ziva intro talk, get them tools. Because if someone comes to you and they have what I call worthy inquiry, and they want and need and are ready for help, then I think we have a responsibility to help them. Now, what may happen other times is that people are going to come to you and they're going to have a list of issues going on. It's just like, man, this just feels so hard, or this feels overwhelming. And you might at first blush think that this is worthy inquiry. You might think like, man, you could really benefit from meditation or CrossFit or this, cookbook. And if this person doesn't want help, then if you try and push your tools on them, they might push back. Right? Like if we start to become evangelical about things and someone does not want or is not ready for help, then it actually can be rude. It actually can be a little insensitive. And so again, we just want to ask, is this something that you would like help with? Because oftentimes you might say, hey, I was having a same issue and meditation really helped me. Would you like to try? And what you're met with is like, you don't understand. My stress is special. This is hereditary. I've inherited this. I've tried that. It doesn't work. And in this particular case, someone is not asking for help. What they're actually asking for is the suffering trophy. And what I recommend you do in this case is give it to them. Man, I don't know how you make it through the day. That sounds really hard. Please excuse me, I'm gonna go have some ice cream. And I know this might sound a little mean, this might sound a little insensitive, but I actually think that you can do it with compassion. I think it's true. I don't know how I made it through the day before I had meditation. And an interesting recent example for me, a year ago when I had my son, I didn't meditate for a whole month because I was so tired that anytime I had time, I would just fall asleep. And I think I actually needed to be stressed to stay awake around the clock. And I noticed that I would get into almost like a competition, a suffering competition with my husband. It's like, I'm suffering more. No, I'm suffering more. And in this time, I might have needed help, but I didn't want help. I actually wanted to be validated in my suffering at this time. I wanted people to know how hard it was going through postpartum. And so again, this is not meant to be a judgment about where anyone is. It's about knowing how you can most accurately and compassionately help someone. So the framework I recommend you implement when people are coming to you, which they might start doing a lot more, is if they're coming to you with problems and you're not sure how to help, ask them, is this something that you would like help with? And if they say yes, then great, they're giving you permission to share your story, to share your tools. And if they don't want help, or if they just keep saying, well, this is an unsolvable problem, then you very kindly and compassionately validate their suffering. But then I would recommend that you start to put your time and attention on something else. Because if you start pouring your time and your attention on their suffering, then you're watering their weeds. And that's not compassionate. You can love them, you can see them in their highest version, you can encourage their healing and their uplifting, but don't water their weeds. So, framework here. When someone comes to you, ask the question, is this something you would like help with? If they say yes, then great, share your tools. And if not, then you can validate their suffering, give them the suffering trophy, but then take care that you are watering the flowers, not watering the weeds. All right, let me know how this goes for you, because I know it can be a little tricky. So I'd love to hear about your experience with the suffering trophy over in the Ziva tribe. All right, friends, hope to see you soon. Bye. Now, if you want my best tips for getting deeper sleep, increased productivity, having better sex, and ultimately performing at the top of your game, head to zivameditation.com/tips. You'll get instant access to my stress-less guided meditation and life-changing goodness delivered directly to your inbox. Are you doing it? Are you typing it in? zivameditation.com/tips. It'll seriously change your life. All right.